In this video I'll talk about mid-sides, so you will really understand what mid-side is, how you can use it in mixing, and also how to create your own mid-side channel matrix, so you can go really creative without specialized plugins. Make sure to listen this video on a stereo device. Ideally speakers, because that will give you the best listening experience for mid-side judgment. Cover songs is probably one of the many types of songs you would love to do, but uploading to a streaming platforms is always a hassle due to copyrights and required fee because you cover an original song. DistroKid makes this very easy for you by offering the option to do this all for you for $12 per song per year when you have a DistroKid subscription. Use my link in the description to get 7% off of your first year on a DistroKid. Mid-sides is a different way to understand stereo other than left-right. Mid-sides splits the audio into a mono mid component and a sides component, which by itself sounds like this. I call this listening with scheve oren. Mid-sides is used a lot in plugins for stereo widening, or for instance frequency-specific problem solving. You all have seen low-end mono makers in plugins that uses mid-side EQing. Where mid ends and sides start is hard to say. Sides really needs the mid component to sound right. This means that mid-side only applies to stereo. To understand better how mid-side works, let's begin by creating the mid and sides components ourselves. We will build a mid-sides encoding matrix. Here's this stereo track. I have split the stereo audio into a left and right mono track. When I pan these to the center, they will play back mono. And this is the mid channel. It's effectively the left plus the right channel. And it sounds like this. To create the sides component, you have to use the left and right track again. For that I have duplicated the two tracks. I need to pan them to the center as well, but to create the sides channel I need the difference between the left and right track. Left minus right is easy, minus right is negative right, and for that you simply flip the phase. This sides channel sounds like this. Mid-sides consists of two mono channels where the mid channel is the sum of the original stereo left and right channel panned to mono. The sides is the difference between the original stereo left and right channel panned to mono where the original right channel has been phase inverted. What you hear just now is the pure mid and sides components, and like this there's not much you can do with it. But now you know how the audio is split in mid-side, which will be of importance for mixing. To create normal stereo audio from mid-sides, you have to do another matrix, the mid-sides decoding into stereo. For that you need to do some extra routing with the sides channel. You'll need it twice. I have set up two mono buses for that. One will be panned hard left, the other hard right. That right channel you need to phase invert again. To reconstruct a regular, listenable stereo track for the left channel, you have to sum the hard left panned side channel plus the mid, which will be panned to the left. The normal stereo right channel is now reconstructed from the phase inverted hard right panned side channel, plus the mid channel panned to the right. due to how this matrix works, you can keep the mid-channel panned center, because mono playback on a stereo device means you have the same audio for left and right channel. I have both side channels panned like I showed, -3 dB level for both side channels. That is due to pan loss, and that makes that the entire stereo track sounds like it should. Side note, all my audio tracks are -3 dB as well, because all of this summing and rooting increases the level quite a bit. Be aware of that. To create normal stereo from the two components of a mid-side track, you need to duplicate the sides channel. Pan those two new sides channels to hard left and hard right and phase invert the right sides channel. Since you now have control over the mid and sides, you can do very cool things with this. The first is to rebalance mid and side. Lowering the volume of the sides will make the overall stereo track more mono. Increasing the sides will make your stereo track wider. Exactly this is the most common stereo widening trick you see in so many plugins. If you push the sides too far, your stereo image falls apart. I recommend to always use a correlation meter to check how proper your stereo image holds up. Aim to be always in the positive values. Negative means out of phase. You can even decide to pan the mid channel a bit. Something I've actually done in mastering where for some reason the stereo image was skewed. This is also something you can do in, for instance, the BXXL V2 plugin. This control of mid and sides opens up many more possibilities. I've routed the negative and positive sides channels to a new stereo bus to make my life easier. The most common trick is to apply EQ for either mid or sides, but why would you want to do this? EQ in its cleanest form is simply a level change for a specific frequency range. And we learned that increase the level for the sides will make stereo wider, and lower the sides will make the stereo image narrower. This makes EQ ideal for quite a few situations. The first is to control low end width. Usually you don't want a very wide low end, because it can cause all sorts of phase related playback problems on different types of listening devices. For vinyl masters, having a low end is an absolute must. The needle can physically jump out of the groove if your low end is too wide. You can get a mono low end by lowering the lowest frequencies in the sides channel. This function is found in many EQ plugins already, and it basically has this entire mid-side matrix built in a convenient way. Select the sides option and lower the sides frequency band. And some plugins feature a mono maker function which does exactly this. You can also make a frequency range wider by applying mid-side EQ. For instance, the upper mids in masters. The same goes for the mid channel. You can easily boost frequencies or even reduce, but be more careful with the stereo correlation. I tend to boost the low end and the mid channel quite a bit when I have lowered it in the sides channel. But why stop here? Why not add effects on either mid or sides channel? Like here with this spring reverb on the claps and the sides. Now, very important disclaimer. Because mid and side are dependent on each other, any change you make to either mid or side will also affect the other component to a degree. Always listen if the adjustments you make sound good and if the phase coherency is still there. Always handle with care with mid-side. And I'd say when you have very specific audio in either left or right channel, use left-right EQ. When audio is pretty much the same for both channels, use mid-side.